the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who said that the US is documenting these civilian casualties. They're keeping photographs and they are going to keep track of the attacks on civilian casualties. They say they have credible intelligence and information that densely populated areas full of civilians have been targeted. So that's latest lines coming in from the UK Defence Intelligence saying that Russia's blaming of the ceasefire breakdown is to absolve responsibility for civilian casualties. Well, we've been hearing day in, day out from President Zelensky, the Ukrainian president. He's been addressing his nation. He has been at times frustrated and angry at the lack of a no-fly zone. He's requested that from NATO members several times. That has been rejected from them. But in his latest message that was posted online, he's been speaking about an attack on a civilian airport on an area called Vinnytsia in central Ukraine. Have a listen to what he had to say.
I've just been told about the rocket strike at Vinnytsia. 8 rockets against our town, against our peaceful Vinnytsia that never threatened Russia by any way. A rocket strike, tough, cynical, completely flattened the airport. They carry on destroying our infrastructure, our lives, built by us, by our fathers, by our grandfathers and grandmothers, by generations of Ukrainians. Every day we keep saying, close the sky over Ukraine to all Russian rockets, to Russian military aviation, to all those terrorists, and made a humanitarian air zone without rockets, without planes. We are people. Your humanitarian responsibility is to protect us, to protect people. You can do that. If you don't do that, if you want, at least give us planes for us to be able to protect ourselves, that only one conclusion could be drawn. You also want us to be very slowly killed. And that is the responsibility of global politicians and Western leaders from today and forever.
That's the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressing his anger and frustration at the ongoing bombardment of different sites here across Ukraine as this war rages on. Well, earlier we spoke to the former Prime Minister of Ukraine, Yulia Tymoshenko. She made an appeal to the international community for more help for the people of Ukraine. Have a listen.
Ukraine is being absolutely plummeted by missile strikes. Children are dying, peaceful people, women are dying. Currently, everything is being shot at close range. I just want to thank everyone for your support. We really value tough sanctions against the aggressor. We value today that the world gives us arms, that the world is with us, but today it's not enough. In order for Ukraine to hold on, for everyone, for Europe, for the world, in front of the aggressor, the Russian Federation that crossed all borders, we require serious help. That help is closing the sky over Ukraine. Today, this is as a prayer repeated by Ukrainian children which are hiding in bomb shelters. Our Ukrainian mothers are repeating this as a prayer. We need your help. If the sky is closed over Ukraine for Russian military aviation and for missile strikes, Ukraine will prevail. And together with the whole civilized world, now I want to address the mothers of the world. To women, I ask you, please stand with Ukraine. I call to all leaders of the world that could stand with us to close the sky over Ukraine. That is not true, that the NATO decision is required for that. Today, a coalition of countries could be created. The countries who are prepared to defend Ukraine, as it was in Iraq, in Libya, when the closed sky was used without a NATO decision. Now we need goodwill. Please know, today the lives of our children and the existence of Ukraine depends not only on what the aggressor is doing. The aggressor will be doing what it is doing now. Putin will go to the end. However, the lives of Ukraine, the lives of our children also depend on your goodwill, on your decision to close the sky, to shield the sky over Ukraine. I just want to say that our army is fighting strong. Today, normal men and women are out on the streets. They were given arms, but even without arms, they're stopping tanks. Our cities are occupied, but we are strong. Our faith is strong, and we know we will win together with the whole civilized world.
Let's go straight to our correspondent Jeremy Bowen, who joins us from the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. And Jeremy, over the last few days, we've been watching your heartbreaking reports there from the capital. Families torn apart, husbands and fathers saying goodbye to their children and their wives as they join the fighting. This is now the story of so many people across this country.
Yeah, heartache, separation, and also a sense of not knowing where this thing is going to go. The thing about wars when they start, at the very beginning, people still have one foot in their old lives and they remember what it was like. And sadly, as time goes by, they get used to the new reality. But they are not there, not nearly there as yet. And, this thing is not looking as if it's going to be over quickly. So, there's been some awful days so far, but sadly, I think there are going to be some worse ones.
Indeed, and yet, strangely, as you say, they're not there yet, but they're adapting very quickly to this life underground in the bunkers and then a life overground. People realizing that they need to quickly understand what their role is in this conflict. Those who choose to stay, and then, of course, there are those who